feel like it's a habitual thing I say at the beginning of all my readings because it's usually like the second stream of the night or I'm back within 24 hours or something like that. And I made it a habit to say again. Yeah, we know. I mean, every time I come back, it's again, right? Just seems a little unnecessary. You know what I mean? Let's uh let's not beat around the bush. Let's just get this ad break out of the way so that we get a solid 21 minutes minimum without getting interrupted. All right. I'm back with you, my one silent viewer that seems to be here literally every time I stream, which cannot express how much I appreciate your company despite your ungiving silence. Perhaps I shouldn't make the assumption that it's the same silent viewer each time. There's always that one person who shows up in the first 30 seconds and then no one else shows up for like 3 hours, so it does means a lot to me. Okay, so anyways, tonight it's so funny. I've been prepping for this night for a week, and there's just like it was just 2 minutes, 22 seconds, and two viewers. So whoever that is, definitely got blessings coming. Okay, so I've been trying to prep for this night, this comedy night that I was planning, and like I was having a hard time connecting with certain people um, before scheduling them. But if I even got the slightest hint that someone wanted or didn't want to talk to me, then I would adjust accordingly. And so at first I was like, I don't think Betty White's about to come through. And then she's like, who I'd like to talk to is Joan Rivers. I'm like, that's so cute. I can make that happen because I'd be more interested in talking to Joan Rivers than Betty White. No offense. Betty White's cool, but man, likable people just don't do it for me. You know what I'm saying? Like, not an ounce of controversy in that woman's body. That's probably not true. I'm sure back in the day she was a bit feistier because she clawed her way to the top in an industry in which women were not doing such at the time. But same with Joan Rivers, and Joan Rivers did it in an outspoken way. And that's why I'm like, yeah. Joan Rivers actually sounds interesting to talk to. I think it might also come down to people's beliefs in their lives on whether or not they'd be down for this kind of thing. But ultimately, I decided we'll do it. And I kept wanting to cancel because I am getting almost like so in tune with tomorrow's lineup for Nico's birthday. I've been listening to Nico on the Velvet Underground all week long. Granted, do I do that every week? Yeah, of course. But this week I like can't get it out of my head, kind of. So, yeah, I'm really looking forward to that. And I was like, maybe I'll just cancel comedy night. And so they were like, yo, if we had one request, it would be that you don't cancel tomorrow or change the day or anything like that. And I was like, okay, fine, I'll do it. But there was nothing super clearly or distinctually coming through for me from any of the people that I anticipated to put on my list. So I don't have a list up. I don't. Betty White was a request. Betty White requested Joan Rivers. Robin Williams also request. Richard Pryor put a word in. He, like, I was making my list and Richard Pryor came up, so he was down to talk. Um, and I think that's a bit of the trouble with this whole thing is, I don't like to talk to people um, that don't want to be spoken to. And so I was kind of getting that vibe from the Betty Whites and the Robin Williams and the Alex Trebeks, though I'm trying to come around to the idea because they have made, like, like Alex Trebek didn't seem like someone I'd want to talk to, but he was actually pretty open to it. He presented himself. You know, it's different when it's like a person presenting themselves as very much here. Okay, I don't know how else to explain that. Like, you see them here, you see them here, you see them here. Whereas, for me anyway, memories or like thinking of stuff is up here. Okay, that's how I know where I'm at. This is my thoughts. This is like my speech bubble, thought bubble up here. And then this is like the realm or equal but opposite realm that I can just view. Okay, I'm starting to just think it's maybe living or dead. But yeah, so is what it is, I guess. But yeah, that was the plan tonight. Was 555. Betty White, Joan Rivers, Richard Pryor, and Robin Williams. Kind of a random lineup. But again, it's like the wholesome Betty White and Robin Williams. Like, everybody loved them. No qualms, no controversies, their whole lives. So, like, really lovable, likable people. Versus, like, the more outspoken, very controversial, very much indifferented Joan Rivers and Richard Pryor. So I think it's a good balance. But like I said, there's some days I'll wake up and I'll just start talking to someone and I'm like, oh, okay, cool. They have not told me shit. I have no idea what the fuck is going on with it, you know? So I'm trying to ease into it. I'm going to use the Halloween Oracle because I clearly am going to need something if I'm not getting anything so far. And yeah, their only request was that I didn't cancel, so I didn't have to give them anything. Granted, I think they knew I wasn't going to get them shit anyway, so they were like, yo, just don't cancel the show. All right, Saturday Night Live, it's got to go live. It's got to be on Saturday night. Isn't that like the whole point? Yeah, I think so. Okay. Oh, I do believe you are what you see. Okay, I shuffled this deck, clearly facing two different ways or something. Put whatever cards we pulled on top. Let me add these back in the deck. Yeah, I don't know, what's going on? Is it me? Is it Halloween month? Is it Twitch? Is it something I've said? It's so slow this weekend. Maybe it was slow this week too. But as I recall, it wasn't really. I don't know. Is it because I banned so many trolls? And the trolls were the only ones keeping my channel alive. It's like, what do you sacrifice? Your sanity for views? I didn't know. I will refuse that one. It's just not me. All right, so we've got the Witch, the Earthly Weaver of the Worlds, and the Veil, the future. So once again, seeing these visions, I can't emphasize enough the play, the theater, the vision, you know. I'm still really reeling in that Rita reading too. If you hadn't checked that out last Friday, I think it was what? God, the weeks are so bendy. Kind of can't remember if it was last Friday or the Friday before. Must have been last Friday, right? I don't even know. So if you missed the Frida reading, it was really good. She showed me things that like a mouthful of deliciousness deep in my throat and my whole visceral being. Like, one of the coolest things ever. Yeah, so tonight, you know, Joan Rivers is a Gemini, so I guess I'll light a Gemini incense for her. Come to me. You are what you believe. Come to me. See, like, I'm just so into tomorrow. I'm gonna be smoking cigarettes. I haven't smoked at all yet, but it's about to be Nico's birthday. She's not gonna let me get away with it. I'm hoping that I can still stream down here and just literally take smoke breaks, but this woman likes to smoke when she talks. Like, it's crazy. I had this pack. Well, I guess I'll tell that story tomorrow. My pack of cigarettes on the altar. So funny. Come to me. There's another one of the many songs that I listen to way too much to not know the effing words to, because then I end up singing the same four fucking word lyrics that I know over and over again. All right, so Earthly Reaver of the World and The Veil, the future. So that's me in a nutshell. Yeah, I probably can see the future. I mean, I wouldn't doubt it. I just think that time works differently everywhere off of, we are on Earth time, you know what I mean? Basing it on the sun and other such shit, as if there's like a quantifiable measure of the sun's rotation that can be valued into divisions of seconds, minutes, etc. It's crazy. So while the rest of the universe has a viewpoint of looking at all of time at the same time, we're stuck on this linear scheduled calendar. But hello, halfway to Halloween. Yes. Fuck yeah, happy Saturday. I'm so glad you're here. I was just complaining about it being too quiet this weekend, but I get it, because like you said, 2 weeks to Halloween, halfway to Halloween. I bet people are at parties for costumes and such things, you know, out doing murders or something. Come to me. You are what you believe. Yeah, I don't know the words, but it's cute. So yeah, very cool stuff going on. Not really, nothing's going on yet. Trying to do comedy. I also feel like there's a special guest, and that's why nobody's saying anything, and I haven't connected to anyone that's on the list tonight. And I didn't write their names down. I should probably write their names down. I'll do it at the next commercial. Don't let me forget. I'll probably forget. It just something made me want to cancel tonight. And then literally they were like, please do not do that. And I was like, okay, fine. I like, you know, getting acquainted with people before I let them into my fucking body. Just kidding. I still think it'll be cool. I'm the most excited about Joan Rivers for some reason. And Richard Pryor, though. Betty White and Robin Williams were just requests that I'm taking, not to be rude. I also think part of the reason that I not necessarily am picky choosy but enjoy or think some readings will be better than others, and of course it can be proved wrong. Like Agatha Christie's abduction case, definitely top stories of like any, you know what I'm saying? Like, what the fuck was that about? We don't know. We're gonna do part 2 sometime in November. Kind of still thinking about that. So like, I can definitely be proved wrong. But I think part of the reason that I'm drawn more to talking to perhaps musicians over like actors is because, one, with actors, you really don't know who they are. Like, their whole job is to play roles and to essentially fool people into thinking they're someone they're not. And musicians, though they may have personas, feel more authentic in the way that they have only one role in essence, even if they're even if their act is a persona, it's still just like them in that. Whereas actors, you know, it's almost too many layers. It's like the Depp Heard conundrum, where they're both paid actors on standing trial against each other. How do you even know like the depth of a role, right? So it's just crazy to think. But yeah, I think there's something a little more authentic about music, and I think that people who resonate with things like, you know, even like sex, drugs, and rock and roll, like the basics, all sort of correlate with death to an extent. Sex, in the sense that, sure, it can kill you, but also it is the cause of creation for mankind, which means that it's very much linked to death, right? What? Oh, okay. It took me like a second to really process what the fuck. I was thinking like artificial intelligence at first, and then it was like, what are we even talking about? But you're going back to the case. Yeah. Well, there is, but that's the thing is like, is Johnny Depp a good enough actor to throw those people off? Because Amber Heard was not. Everybody knew she was like kind of playing it up for the cameras, but there's a lot of speculation around Johnny Depp where some people were like, yeah, he's authentic, and others were like, yeah, he's an actor. Like, he's played a lot of fucking roles just like this, right? Um, yep, yep, yep. I believe that. Yeah, yeah. So it's like, how do you know like where it ends and begins, right? So I don't know. I think that's why when it comes to the deceased, it's just like people like drugs. You risk dying when you do drugs. You like are closer to God and therefore, in essence, closer to death, right? Because you're seeing God. I honestly thought oractics was some kind of antic thing, and or I just went with it. I thought oractics was a word, and I quite like it, so I think we're gonna keep it. Since it's not a real word, I'm gonna have to just write it down. Do you want to give it a definition? Should it be some kind of theatrical antics? That's what I'm leaning towards, just because of the context in which it's used. But you made up the word, so you can definitely pick the definition. So, go for it. Okay. Dun, 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 dun. Okay. Could also maybe be a name or something if I end up going in route. Where does it go and begin? Oh, what? I'm talking about your made up word, oractics. You can make up a definition if you want to. I just wrote theatrical musings of a deceptive kind. I don't know. Just really liked it, okay? It was a typo. Yeah, you're catching up. It's okay. Also the lag. It's like, who knows what we're ever talking about. Yeah, I'm keeping it. I like the word. I thought it was a word, and then you corrected yourself, and I'm like, oh, well, it's a great word. Keeping it. Just talk to Shakespeare. Make shit up all the time. Half my made up words are typos. Like such. It's just me trying to say so much, but it describes a level of, you know, the way I want to be close to someone and touch them because I love them so. Such. I love you, such. Anyways. Okay, so, okay. I'm more excited about tomorrow than tonight. I feel guilty about it. That's what we were talking about, right? Is sex, drugs, and rock and roll. It's just like even in music, you hear so many songs about death or relating to death. Oh, I love that. Okay. Yeah, I knew the lag was fucking up this conversation. Let's fucking go, buddy. Adding that. Tim, I made a note of it. I liked it. Don't want to lose it to the stream forever. And I want to encourage people's creativity. Obviously. Art and skill of perfect speech and meaning. I love that. Cool. So, anyways, let's run this ad, and then I'm gonna write the names on the board, and then we'll get in because I feel like it's coming to me now. I'm kind of getting focused where I just had to admit what was happening, and now I can tell I can feel it. Let's go. All right, I'm back. I lost everybody except for my dearest source, I'm assuming. This gosh dang lag situation is so bizarre. It just started out of nowhere, and for what? Just don't understand it. Let's hope it catches up with this little refresh. Yeah, we're caught up. Okay. Great. I know, it's like an interpersonal lag where I gotta have my video player up so I know if I get disconnected when my ads are playing, when to play the ads, etc. And it lags for me, sometimes up to a minute. It's bizarre. It's like, why? No idea. No, it just started out of nowhere. It started the same day as a tarot reading told me that the universe was fucking with me. Same day. And it's just happened periodically throughout the streams ever since. It's usually like if I like cut to an ad and come back, it'll start the lag. When I start the stream, there's a lag and then ad lag, and then if I refresh it, it catches back up. And so I don't know why it keeps getting like out of sync. It's just the universe fucking with me. The universe is like, you're gonna get everything you want. Let us just tease you a little bit because last time we teased you, you tried to kill yourself. And then I argued that not eating is not a direct attempt at suicide if you don't realize you need the food to stay alive, right? On God. And they're like, yeah, that's what Kara Carpenter said. I'm on top of the world and looking down on creation, and the only explanation I can find is the love that I've found ever since you've been around. Your love's put me at the top of the world. Amazing. I literally could not even imagine myself with a guitar. It sounds hideous. I'm not even gonna lie. It sounds fucking disgusting. Everyone else can look as good as they want to. I just don't think I look good with a guitar. Thanks for thinking I have a great voice because I love singing and I'm working on a song, an original instead of a cover. I'm gonna release it with some other covers and hopefully another original if I can figure it out in the next like 2 weeks because the whole idea is Halloween. I'm crazy. Not really though. I honestly don't identify as such, which is a problem. It's the most problematic version of crazy is to think you're not. So I periodically say I am, just keep people off my back, more or less. It's water. Also, this cup design, 1995. Never change, baby. Never change. Okay. Listen, I was thinking one night, and then I almost started singing again. I was gonna say one night while hunting for it's a lemonade cup from the fair, but it's just like the same 1995 design that they've always had. And I just appreciate that because it's a great design. I totally see why they kept it. One night I'm gonna go on music category on here. I'm gonna sing all my little covers, but then I'm like, no, because I would need to do something so awkward. Can't stand instruments. So fucking weird and random. Okay, so Night Song, Hidden Talents. There's probably an instrument I'm definitely meant to play and won't, but that's okay. Maybe I will someday. Cool. Can you tell I'm ready for rock and roll night tomorrow? That's kind of where I'm at. Where it's like, for some reason, that's my vibe. Those are my people. These are people that I, in my whole lifetime, wished that I would be able to talk to or could talk to. And then I grow up to be able to talk to them in a very extremely unconventional way. People like Nico and Lou Reed and even Jim Morrison or, Freddie Mercury, who I all have on the list for tomorrow. But this day, I just never got that into it. So I'll probably get more baked, honestly, because I was feeling it for a second, and then I was like, wait, take a pause, and it's like kind of going in and out. So I gotta just get ripped as hell, so I stop singing and all this other stuff because I'm supposed to be doing comedy right now. I'm supposed to be channeling comedians right now. Can you just up? This is why they begged me not to cancel. They're like, dude, you got us all hyped. You got us all gathered. Like, what are you doing? What are you doing? I'm not canceling, that's for sure. Okay, let's go. Let's go. I honestly, this is like the moments where I'm doing my job in which I did have a little alcohol or something. You know? Nico's only coming for the cigarettes anyway, so enjoy this night. People who actually want to say things. Okay. I'm still okay, so I'm like kind of picturing Betty. Okay. We've got Hearth, happiness in our hearts and homes, and the underworld where all things pause and begin again. So I can picture her, but I'm still singing I Found a Reason. And I will admit, I made like a goofy video right before I started streaming to that song, and I did more than one take. I have no shame in admitting that. I wanted to look as incredible as I do in the videos. There's more than one take. And I restarted the song, and then I watched it play and heard it play over while I added a caption and while I uploaded it and blah, 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 blah. So it's probably because I listened to the intro maybe 20 times before I started the stream, but it is stuck in my head, and I think there is a reason. Oh, well, that's ironic. Oh, I do believe you are what you see. Okay. But it doesn't seem like those messages really correlate. But then again, who am I to say? Because that's the thing, Betty White was hip and happening back in the day. Of course, she knew about the Velvet Underground. She was a model too, and like they didn't want her, but she was bigger than them. Already kind of a star. When did the Golden Girls start? Probably the 80s, right? No. Really? How long has Betty White been old? She like hates that, but she's still presenting as very old, and not all old people do that. But she was like, no, I think the second half of my life was not only more remarkable but more enjoyable. And I don't know, I don't think she could keep up with like the sexiness of her youth. I don't know how else to word that. Where she's always been very good looking and she's always been very feminine, but she really, I think the reason that she became such an iconic old lady is that she was waiting for that to happen. Like, she is absolutely strikingly gorgeous at 96 years old or whatever, and she doesn't even look totally overly done plastic surgery wise. She's saying had some fillers, some Botox, but she never, she was kind of right after all that where like the ship sailed and she didn't care, but her publicist, stylist, they kept up with her skin, basically. Kind of made her look younger and fuller, but she never wanted to change the core. She never got the lips. She didn't change her nose, just little here and there. And that's why she's got that natural look. Because she didn't even do that very much all the time. The older she got, the less she wanted to do that. Once again, it was her agents, her style, all this pressure on her to be doing these things. So, it's not something that she really factored into her life. Okay. So she does present herself as like older. And I think that's really sweet. I didn't realize she died on New Year's Eve. That's pretty funny. So there's something else we were just talking about, kind of. Oh, I wanted to know when Golden Girls was on the air. Yeah, 85 to 82, 92. 85 to 92, yeah. So by the time, you know, what did she do before that? Obviously everything. That was the thing. She was never really part of a scene because she kind of was famous. Like, she's not even trying to sound any type of way. She was just very well known from very early on in her career. So she was always Betty White. And that's why she died Betty White, you know? There was no fade out no matter how inactive she was. Um, Happy New Year, right? Kind of a cool, like, way brand New Year. It was cool. She definitely made that decision herself. I'm not saying she killed herself, but when death came, she said, I'll go. She also felt it was perfect. She also felt like she didn't feel like being 100, really. I mean, she really didn't. I think that's something she decided in her 60s that she wanted to probably not be triple digits because it was just not something, like, not a club she wanted to be in. Like, it was just something arbitrary, but that she didn't want to do. Didn't want to be a century. A lot of people would strive for that, but she was like, nah, I can't. I can't. I don't want to be ancient. I want to be old, you know? She want to remember as a grandma, not a great grandma or on a record somewhere. You know, she just wanted to live life to the fullest. And I think 99 is exactly where it gets at capacity. And then, like you said, Happy New Year, boom, start back at zero, because it's now the next level, and those zeros have a 1 in front of it. 100. Gangsta shit. Betty White literally could get away with whatever she wanted. It was kind of ridiculous, and she definitely tested the boundaries, not just like as a white woman, but um, for the sake of white women, because she knew that because people loved her and that she could get away with it, she did stray in her later years from being kind of like a clown uh, character. She took a lot of the brand deals after the Golden Girls, or in the revitalization or the movement, new age kids kind of coming back to Golden Girls, because she not needed the money, but she just didn't like want to get it too in. It was easier to act in a commercial than to commit to a show. She kind of has had that more morbidity thought since like she was 86, you know. And she was like, once she went past 85, she was very unsure of how much time she had, so she wanted to stay active, but she also stepped back because she was like, fuck, I don't know. But people would have her do the silliest things. The Snickers commercial was like, I love that commercial. It was one of her favorites, but it opened the floodgates of like people all wanting Betty White on their things, where she really was just trying to get her toes back in the pool with that commercial. I don't know her career. You have to understand. I'm speaking on her behalf, but I'm not verifying anything or saying it's all true. But she's saying that that commercial was like the revitalization of her career, where no one was really talking about her. People were hardly even playing the reruns of Golden Girls. Like, you know what I mean? And so that commercial, everyone saw her and kind of remembered who she was and was like, oh, I want that, I want this, I want that. And she did it because she didn't want to commit to anything too, like, you know, before she would finish. Thank you, Ashley. But she had to go. I mean, she had to do that. She had to go. Because she didn't want it to be overly characteristic, overly old lady, overly grandma. How you doing? I'm doing channel messages tonight. We got Betty White, Joan Rivers, Richard Pryor, and Robin Williams on the lineup. So currently with Betty White, she's a Capricorn. Are you also a Capricorn? Um, Kind of funny if you were, but it's more predictable that you'd be a Pisces. So it is what it is. They come on my channel. We love everyone here. Okay, yeah, that's fair. Feel free to share any parts of your chart. It's different. If I'm doing channel messages, I don't always talk too much, but I don't feel too deeply connected right now. And it's a very interesting story regardless. So Betty White just was famous for being Betty White. Nothing like it. She was a fine actress, but nobody gave a fuck if she could act. That was the whole thing. She cemented her career so pertinently. She wants to use the word pertinently. I don't even think that's the proper way to use that word. But okay. She cemented it so pertinently that she could get away with doing nothing, but did these little odd jobs for big sums of money. And it's not that she regrets it because, like, the Snickers commercial was really funny. Everybody loved that. And, no regrets because she lived comfortably in her later years when she did want to retire from acting but could muster up doing little events or like one night shows and blah, blah, blah. But she, in a way, regrets it because it was kind of one of those things where she kind of just opened a floodgates, you know. She kind of wishes that she spent a little more time on activism like Dolly Parton did, or even like Joan Rivers did, because the reason that she said she'd want to talk to Joan Rivers. Oh my God, my next guest was Aries, because that's like the third most popular sign that comes on my channel. But Geminis are a rare treat. I'm a big fan of Geminis. Joan Rivers is also a Gemini, as my partner, best friend, etc., etc. I actually love Geminis. I know you're probably like, what? However, I don't know how I feel about Aries moons. There's a couple of people I know that I love that have Aries moons, but I can tell the rage comes directly from it. It's kind of Aries moon it's a scary placement. I can't even front with you. It's like a scary placement. And some people probably think your Gemini sun is a scary placement, which I don't. I think it makes you a rabid puppy dog, basically. Your Aries moon is rabid and the Gemini sun is puppy. Okay, I'm sorry if that was a bad analogy. We just met. I'm so sorry. This sounds crazy. My little raisin. She's never coming back. I'm just kidding. Okay. I should just stop talking. Okay. Cool. I am not an astrologer. I also find astrology to be completely way too complicated. Oh, thank you. Um, because, yeah, astrology's tough. Tarot chose me. There's no way around it. It's in my blood. Thank you. I know you do. Okay. Relax, King. Um, Thank you. No, I'm doing the channel messages. That's what I was saying. So, could, yeah. It's all good though. Because, I'm being nice right now. And, oh, no, I did change my bio, I think. But I put it in my chat rules that I don't do personal readings anyways, unless you book personal reading. And sometimes, as I don't know, regulars on my channel. Once again, retired bar rat, don't know anything about Twitch. What's the lingo? Marags know that sometimes you get personal readings on my channel, but it's like a mutual exchange of energy. Otherwise, it's all for the greater good, common collective, and general messages over here. Cool. Yeah. Oddly enough, one man podcast, not great. That's kind of the thing with the chat, is it helps keep it interesting by having an assertion of someone else's opinion. I did have a one man podcast at a point, and I stopped it fairly quickly because it's too much actually for how little, you know. Let's roll this ad before we get an auto roll on her ass and come back with more Betty White and other such shit. Okay. I think I'm so fucking funny. All right, so here's one thing. Leo rising and Libra ascending is the same placement of your rising sign is your ascendant. Yeah. So I'm guessing Leo moon, Libra rising, or vice versa. You know? But yeah, we're talking to dead people. It's cool. For some and not so cool for others. If you want to establish residency, I can talk to someone you know briefly by giving you a very specific message on a particular person in your life that's passed away. Other than that, we just have to trust my good faith that I have the skill to talk to these people that I don't know and have no way of confirming anything that they say to me besides Google. I did last night. This girl said her brother passed away. I don't know why I said this girl. It was an anonymous person on Twitch said their brother passed away, and I said, "Oh, was he in the military?" And then so forth from there. And it wasn't last night. That was whenever we did sonnets with Kurt Cobain and Shakespeare 2 nights ago. LOL. That's. Is that not like an imitation? Oh, interesting. Interesting. Wow. That's I'm not surprised by that. When's his birthday? His big ass head would make me think he's a Virgo. He may be a Cancer. He's got a massive fucking head, right? The fuck? A Leo. Interesting. Must be like a Cancer moon, probably because the anger. Aries moon, Virgo rising or Cancer rising? Cancer rising, because everybody thinks he's so nice. Nah, he's good looking, Virgo rising. Yeah. That forehead. Gotta be. Okay. Um that's my prediction on Obama's chart. Is because he's a Leo sun. I'm guessing Aries moon, because she said he's like angry inside, and Virgo rising, because he's got a big head but is also. Okay, should I just see who comes up, or you want to tell me who? Depends. For some people, if you've lost a lot of people, it's like anybody. It's like, oh, I wasn't trying to hear from that person. I could see though. There was maybe someone who liked the Velvet Underground in your life, aka was shooting not bang bang, but like bang bang. I don't know how to say that. Because I was thinking about how that song kept singing it, and then you're here. And I, of course, give the passage of time excuse about how it works different over there. So perhaps someone. Yeah, I'm getting like a big hippie vibe. I don't want to say that their name was Jimmy, but like Ro Jimmy came to mind when it was like, oof. I think maybe there was like yeah, right? Maybe some kind of OD situation, I guess is what I'm getting at, if that checks out for you. Cousin, someone your cousin knows, or your cousin you met through your cousin, because I feel like there was maybe a little bit of a romantic thing going on there at some point, so probably not your cousin, but you like met through a cousin, or they were like a cousin. Okay, might be talking to like too many different people. That's why it's like maybe you. That's funny. I had one too. Um, but I think it more or less was not really an OD, but it could have even been the use, right, rather than an actual OD where something happened. Um, if he was using at a point in life, kind of thing, where something like that. So that's what I got is big. Sorry, I wasn't trying to trigger anybody. Trigger warning: hard drug content. The messages immediately was like somebody doing heroin and Ro Jimmy Ro. Right? Those were the two. Somebody who overdosed and probably your Uncle Jim. That's what I would guess. Yeah, look at me. Like can't, like, somebody had it bad. And maybe there wasn't something romantic, but maybe they were obsessed with you. If that rings a bell. I don't know. There's some kind of slow, dragging kind of guy. Um, yeah, definitely was in vitro. Or he was sick, like hot in the hospital sick, but there was a young dude, and maybe it was like he got addicted to pills because he was so used to having a fucking needle in him and he was in pain from whatever his sickness was, where you may have not seen this person as a fucking junkie, but they were. Regardless of their reasons, it was like a quiet death, quiet overdose death. Kind of like a young guy. I could see his haircut was like, I don't want to say like Juggalo or 90s, but like, it looks like he would have been wearing Genko jeans, but he didn't wear Genko jeans. Because, I don't know. That's weird. If you have to ask around, I don't know who that is. But he had like the hair like, I don't know how else to describe it. Like wife beater energy. I don't know. Not like beating his wife, like the tank tops. Wife beater energy. So maybe you had a stalker who died. Maybe he's alive and your Uncle Jim's trying to warn you about him. Because whatever it is, there's definitely something going on there, okay? So if you gotta ask people, don't. Is this checking out for you? I don't know. You know what I'm saying? Like, somebody has like this slow, dragging, heavy heroin energy. And if you're saying it's not your Uncle Jim, I'm guessing it's two different people. And either your Uncle Jim's warning you about someone who's alive, or those are the two people who love you the most in the other realm that showed up immediately for you. Because, yeah, especially if there are too many, those are the two who showed up. I don't want to say he was a juggalo, but okay. Especially if it's someone related to Jim or someone Jim would know, then kind of, yes. Don't know what the description was for, but yeah, that person's definitely on fucking drugs. That's the message. Ah, yeah. Cool. Not cool. You know what I mean. Yeah. It's all checking out. There you go. Okay, yeah. That would be what it is that he's trying to fucking say, yeah, don't trust him. Don't probably take him in. Take him somewhere. Don't take him in. No money. Nothing. Yep. You're welcome. Did your Uncle Jim have a mustache? I'm picturing like this guy that I saw when I talked to someone else random on the channel's dad. I'm picturing the same guy named Jeff. But then I'm also picturing, it just escaped me. Like, a friend of mine's dad, and they both have mustaches, but different hair patterns, where like the one guy had a full head of hair and the other dude's bald. I can't really see your Uncle Jim because I have my own Uncle Jim, but something kind of crossed between that. Maybe he had a mustache and went bald. I don't know. Kind of funny. Maybe he could never grow a mustache. He wants to be seen with a mustache, and that's why I can't actually see his face. Because he's trying to present himself with a mustache and he didn't fucking have one. So I can't really see his face. That's cute. That's kind of funny. Yeah. Yeah. Here's to... Amen. Amen. Did talking to your Uncle Jim? Yeah, dead people know a lot more than we do. That's for sure. You know, they know way more than we do. You're welcome. Kind of why I like to be able to establish contact with someone, like I said, that's like we can verify in the moment, where it's like it might not be perfect, especially if it's non-specific. But there's always something, right? And it's like, sure, everyone has an Uncle Jim, but does everyone deal with those very specific specifications, Yeah, be safe. Sorry, it wasn't a good message. That's why I'm like, you're welcome, but I don't know, mixed feelings, right? Um, yeah. So good luck, really, with that. And cool fucking beans. Yeah, very cool. And it's good for me to take breaks when I'm doing these readings. Tomorrow is probably going to be big, heavy hitters where I go deep in because I love talking to these people. But it's good to take breaks and not get too exhausted. Yeah. Oh, especially coming from me. It's who I am as a person. It's one of my 6 cycle personalities, right? Where sometimes, like, um, source, you've seen it all. You've seen the way I handle some people who ask when they can get personal readings was way not as nice as I was just now to Ashley. And I hate to admit that because it's like whatever, but some days I am more tolerant than other days. Um, yeah, so I try to not necessarily be apologetic, but to be aware that it can come across as a bit abrasive, even if it's coming from a good or calm place because I'm prone to it for sure. Cool. I don't even know who is men and women on here. That's the thing. It's not about that. It's definitely like the time and place, like I literally just said. So when people make it about that, it definitely pisses me off, and usually men are the ones saying it. I don't know who anyone is. Like, it's not about gender. I don't even know, never drop what, that I'm mean towards men. You just want to get beat up, and at that rate, you need to leave a tip and go to your appropriate channels if that's how you really feel. If you're looking for mommy dommy, this is not it. You gotta go to the link tree, basically. Like, come on. Of course, you'll never drop it. I get that a lot. Okay, then this is weird too, right? Oh, you're so mean. How so? I don't even know who you are, right? You could say that you are a black man, but like I have no way to actually verify that. You know what I'm saying? Like, there's no bias. It's just how much I can tolerate on any given day based on whatever this anonymous person or the other says to me at any given time. So, um, it is kind of funny. I think she left. Thank you, um, and I guess the only reason I am willing to do that with the Halloween Oracle is because it establishes contact for anybody who's watching the video and be like, all right, cool, and then proceed into my own thing. Cause I'm up to my own thing. I wish I knew the words to that one too. It's Chance, right? My own thing. Yeah. I wanna do my own thing. I have never worn this jacket, and I actually got it out of my aunt's closet 10 years after she passed away, pretty much. 9. And I think it's very cool. So it's pretty much vintage. And I was like, I always take the shoulder pads out of my jackets, but this one, I was like, you know what, Ange? I think you're right. I can't. I couldn't. It'd be so shapeless and it's so gorgeous. I would never want to mess with it. But I love this outfit. This was my Joan Rivers, Richard Pryor inspired outfit. So I'll probably crack into Joan Rivers after the next commercial break because she's been waiting all day. I think we're gonna really vibe. I love Geminis and I love a controversial woman who will say whatever the fuck she wants. So that's gonna be cool. Richard Pryor, same. Wow, that guy was interesting. Wow, that guy was controversial as fuck. Wow, that guy was bisexual, even openly. Like, his kids will deny it, and like, he never did. He had many relations with many men, and the men are like, yeah, fucking, what do you mean? Of course I hooked up with Richard Pryor. We had a whole ass romance, and his kids are like trying to write it out of his history, but he was never like, he never hit it himself. It's kind of really weird, right? So, super not coming for his kids either. Like, I'm not trying to criticize them. It's just odd. that it's like an open known thing that he was pretty much bisexual. Probably everyone was because cocaine in the 80s, right? But yeah, it seems cool. Not it seems cool. I'm sorry, he seems cool is what I meant by that. Not it like the whole cocaine in the 80s situation. But um, really? Can you verify what I just said? Like I was reading articles about Richard Pryor's bisexuality and like his kids. One of his daughters is like literally denying it in this article that I read a few years ago. At this point, like they wrote a biography and then like she was like, no, you can't publish that, and they're like, why? Like what? Like these stories. It was just like a weird thing. I don't really know. But yeah. When was his birthday? A Sag, and he died during Sag season. Yeah, he literally was everything he needed to be. That's amazing. He is so fucking cool. And he was always just said what he needed to say. That's a dude. Richard Pryor was a fucking comedy king. His last, oh, he's got Lennox in his name. Oh my god, I love that. Yeah, yeah, yeah. He knew he had to get his ass on this list. He is a fucking legend, and I would even say saint. Yeah, I'm not super familiar with all of his comedy. I'm sure he's gonna want to address all of that, um, to an extent. Because yeah, he was almost too controversial. He said some really fucked up shit, right? And a lot of it is like cocaine is not the best. Kind of like it's not the Adderall people think it is, right? Like you don't actually come up with good ideas on cocaine, you know. So you can write a good song, but probably not a good joke necessarily. So like keeping that in mind. He had eras, right? He had eras. I don't know much about his work. When I connect with the deceased a lot of time, like in that moment, I was like, damn, he feels like he's a really cool guy, and I know a little bit about his life, and that he was a very chaotic bisexual, um, and big on drugs. So that's, yeah, I know he probably crossed some lines. I'm guessing that was like his whole job. But then on the opposite end, we got Robin Williams, which was requested. So like I threw them all four of them on the same night. Um, Kind of funny. Wait, he was July 21st. Is he a Cancer or a Leo? Because he died August 11th, which is when I put my album out. So this is such a creepy night. I love it. What a creepy night. I love it. Oh, and his influenced by section has Richard Pryor in it. So this is gonna be very cool. Who knew? This is beautiful. Now I'm fucking very excited. Oh. Oh, so the weird shit was not about Richard but his son? Oh, bummer. Okay. Well, I'm gonna take a break, 60 seconds, and be right back with some more comedian chats. Next being Joan Rivers. Lots to look forward to. Okay. I'm back. Okay. Cool, 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 cool. Cool. Okay, cool. Okay, cool. Okay, cool. I need to refresh this page and also talk about myself for a brief moment because I am so fucking proud of myself for releasing music, even if it's not original music, and even if it is on my own website. But at the same time, I did attempt to upload it to other places. However, I'm not sure it took. I don't know how any of that shit works. And listen, it's just far from within my budget to be spending loads of dollars on shitty songs to be uploaded to the internet. So I tried. I'm not real sure it worked. I don't know if you can find it on Spotify or YouTube, but I know it's now on SoundCloud and not just Bandcamp and illybilly.com. So, kind of trying. Okay, why didn't I think of Bernie Mac? Maybe he's our special guest, bitch. Maybe we were just waiting for somebody to say something. Literally, the reload player. Cool. How did you know? You were not lying when you said read energy. They have been keeping a secret from me for a minute. I could not figure out why. I was like, something's not right about this night. I'm canceling. I'm changing it. They're like, no, 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 don't. Can't believe you just said that. I can totally see him. Can totally see him because I thought Norm Macdonald, nah, too soon. Bob Saget, way too soon. Like, can't. They can't. You know, like not everybody's adapted to being dead, right? Most people need time unless they were pretty acquainted with that side of life, and that's the thing. Stand-up comedians really aren't thinking like that, huh? Kind of, right? So Bernie Mac, great choice. I think he was always the surprise guest, and I think I would have not known. I even wrote it in my book, WSG question mark. Who is it? And the fact that you just said that, it's like they both started laughing. Kind of. Maybe you chose him, but maybe it always was him because you literally just said that you can read non-tarot things, non-astrology things. Like, that's so funny. I feel like you saw him, kind of. Maybe you didn't, but it feels like you did. And that's kind of cool. Okay, fucking love that. But first, we must get to Joan Rivers. Kind of, and he's the perfect blend of, like, Bernie Mac was a little more out there, and not necessarily more vulgar, but, like, real, right? Compared to, like, the Robin Williams. He is more on par with Robin Williams in his legacy, where he was a household name, a family man, and, like, he was funny. But he also would be in, like, gangster movies and shit, whereas, like, Robin Williams has a lot of softer roles, but I think his comedy was raunchier, right? Like, I don't know. I don't know. I haven't seen any Robin Williams stand-up. I'm not really that's what I was saying about the night. I'm not really that into any of them. And if I had to pick a favorite, it would be Joan Rivers or possibly Richard Pryor, knowing he's a chaotic bisexual. Not because of their comedy, you know. Okay, but like, it's just crazy that Robin Williams died the day I put my yeah. I think it's more than that. Yeah, yeah. Bernie Mac is kind of like the hard Robin Williams. Well, the black Robin Williams, right? Like in this theory. Um, whereas Richard Pryor's totally left field and like Robin Williams could never. You know what I'm saying? Like, oh, it's so funny. Okay, so I guess you spoiled it. It's not special anymore. Just kidding. Go back to Joan Rivers before we get into this boy stuff. She's second on my list. Okay. I also don't think that everyone needs equivalency necessarily when it comes to things like characters, race, people, etc. Bernie Mac is his own person. He's not just the black version of someone else. That's what I was saying, is like, I'm pretty sure I've never seen a stand-up and that it's raunchy, and yet still somehow he maintained his household image, right? Like, he still is regarded as like this, Robin Williams, but he did have like a naughty dark side or whatever. Okay. Dave Chappelle is still alive. What are we talking about? What is cool collars? I don't get what that means. Okay, anyway, like I said, we're going back to Joan Rivers regardless because she was first. Collabs. Okay. Dave Chappelle is alive. What are you talking about? Stop. What are you. What's going on with Dave? What's going on with Dave? Dave, are you okay? Are you okay? Dave. You good? Okay, he's good. Careful. Talk about dead people. Oh, Bob Saget.